Hi. I have been coughing up mucus for the past 3 to 4 days. You're probably gonna hear my mom walking in and then me pause the video and then more. This is gonna be really choppy, basically. But I have to make this video because I'm so mad right now. The Spoonie community deserves better than this. So, okay, real quick, I should mention I'm going to be talking about 4 books in this video that are about chronically ill people, cancer patients, and disabled people. And for the sake of representing a rather large community, I'm just going to call this community Spoonies because a lot of them are Spoonies. And I feel like the spoon theory can be used to describe cancer patients. Like, I doubt that cancer patients have too much energy, especially like if they're on chemotherapy or whatnot, or yeah, anyway. So we start off our journey with The Fault in Our Stars, which is about Hazel, who has cancer, who falls in love with Augustus, who had cancer. And I'm going to be talking a bit about these books. So, like, spoiler warning for The Fault in Our Stars, Me Before You, everything, and 5 feet apart. Especially 5 feet apart. Because that's the main one we are going to talk about today, but I'm going to spoil all 4 of these books. So The Fault in Our Stars comes out, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is such a revolutionary book, I cried my eyes out. And then later they kind of look at it and they're like, was that romanticizing cancer? And then they're like, no, because John Green wrote it for Esther Earl. And then I was like, but it still made a lot of dumb teenagers wish they had cancer, because you get like special perks. And they made it seem like, like tragically beautiful, which is a very common trope in books about spoonies, is that it's tragically beautiful. In the musical Wicked, they call Elphaba's younger sister Nessa Rose, who's in a wheelchair, tragically beautiful. And then they turn to her and she's like, I'm Elphaba, I'm the green one, I'm beautifully tragic. And that phrase, tragically beautiful, has stuck with me. So The Fault in Our Stars comes out. People sort of start to realize that books like this kind of romanticize illness and being a spoonie. And I know that was not John Green's intention, but that's what ended up happening. So then we cut to Me Before You, which picked up traction after it was being turned into a movie, and they were like, oh great, it's a love story about a paraplegic and this woman, and she helps him find a reason to live, which sounds a bit Manic Pixie Girl Dreamish. Wait, Manic Pixie Dream Girl, not Manic Pixie Girl Dream. So I haven't read it, but from what I know, our main man, who is either paralyzed from the waist down or the shoulders down, I think, wants to commit euthanasia, and his caregiver, or carer in the UK, is trying to show him a reason to live, and they end up dating, and it looked really cute, and none of it mattered because he committed euthanasia anyway. And it sent a really harmful message that you should rather die than be disabled. And that's the kind of message it gave off. Like, he still couldn't find the will to live, even with this wonderful lady in his life, because your life is so horrible when you're disabled. And I just can't, I don't want to read that one. So I won't. Then we cut to Everything. And I'm a sucker for young adult novels. And all I had heard from this one was that it was giving the message of risk everything for love. And that's a phrase I'm going to be using a lot. Risk everything for love, because that was the theme of Everything, Everything. Everything, Everything. It's about this girl named Madeline who has SCID, which basically makes her have an allergic reaction to almost anything. So her mom, like, keeps her in this quarantine inside her house, and, like, everything that comes into the house is vacuum sealed, so that way, there's no allergens, and, they're very protective, and she doesn't have a lot of, real friends, so she ends up starting a relationship with the new boy that moved in next door, and they, like, get each other's emails, and they start emailing each other, and then eventually she's like, I'm going to get out of my quarantine, which has been keeping me alive, because I want to go to Hawaii with my boyfriend. And I will say this book is beautifully written. Like, the way Nicola Yoon was describing the beaches in Hawaii was gorgeous. But really, you're going to sacrifice everything. Like, you are going to risk death for a teenage boy. And that's another common thing. Risking your life for a teenage boy, no teenage boy is worth it. Take this from someone that was engaged in the 9th grade to a junior. But take that from someone that thought they were going to be with their first boyfriend forever. Now we are both gay. He is engaged, like, actually to someone. Also, hi Blake, good for you. I hope you're doing great. Yeah. But don't risk your life for your teenage romance. Just don't. It's a really bad idea. Especially if you are a spoonie. And I know you may be thinking, why am I bringing up Me Before You and Everything, Everything? They kind of give off two different messages. Like, Me Before You is like, love doesn't matter, kill yourself anyway. Everything, Everything was, love does matter, kill yourself for love, and here's the reason. So, it doesn't matter in Everything, Everything that she goes outside, that she goes to Hawaii, that she has all this stuff, because it turns out she didn't even have the disease. Her mom had Munchausen by proxy and was pretending that she was ill because she couldn't lose her. Which is such a trope, by the way. Like, the only representation of SCID in fiction, and you're gonna make it, nope, it's just Munchausen. Like, really? Nicola Yoon? Wow, way to, pull our leg. So, I'm reading the reviews for 5 Feet Apart, and everyone's saying, oh my gosh, it's so great. It's not like The Fault in Our Stars. It's, an accurate representation of cystic fibrosis, and it shows you how to, live vicariously despite your illness, and it's so beautiful. And I was like, well, I want to go see the movie because it was, like, Claire Wineland's last project, so I'm going to read the book first. And here's where the spoiler warnings come in. First off, I knew Poe was going to die right off the bat. It wasn't just because he was gay or Latino. It was because I was like, Stella or Will can't die because they keep alternating between their points of view. Therefore, it has to be Poe. But then on top of that, they make him, like... Of course, they kill off the gay Latino character. Which is just infuriating to begin with, but then afterwards, like, after that happens, Stella tells Will, who is, like, about to be transferred to isolation, let's go see these Christmas lights that we've been seeing. And so they go see the lights, or they try to go see the lights. They walk, like, for 2 miles, and I'm like, how are you doing that in the cold? You have cystic fibrosis. What? Y'all are being dumb. And they're trying to keep distance. And then they're ice skating. And then Stella gets a text that says, your new lungs are arriving in 3 hours. Stella is on the top of the transplant list Will has a dangerous bacteria called B. cepacia, and if Stella gets within 6 feet of him, she will catch it and die a lot younger and will not be able to get her her transplant. And she takes a look at that text, takes a look at her boyfriend that she's had for 4 days. 4 days. And says, I don't need those new lungs. And she kisses him. What? Are you actually serious? And it's not like in Everything where, everything is okay, because it turns out she doesn't actually have SCID. Her mom just has Munchausen. No, you can't fake cystic fibrosis. That's something you have for you for life. Like all those munchies online, they can't fake having cystic fibrosis. I mean, I guess they can, but it's like if they're like the people that are actually trying to be like, like spoonies and chronically ill and like all that stuff. Like, no, you can't fake having cystic fibrosis. That's why you see, where there are munchies, I'm not going to I'm not calling people out, but other people have called people out for having like the same 3 diagnostics, like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, POTS, and gastroparesis. But no one fakes having cystic fibrosis unless they're like very intricately lying. So this girl basically said, I want to die in 2 years rather than live another 10, maybe 20 years with new lungs. So that way I can kiss this boy, because my happiness, and I'm not even joking when she says this, my happiness matters more than my life expectancy. Girl, you're 17. You just killed yourself so that way you could kiss a boy. You're gonna find another boy. You know what? You don't deserve those lungs. Give them to someone that's gonna be more grateful for them. I was so excited for this book, and then it spat in my face. I literally called Audible at 2:30 in the morning to get my money back. I just can't. I cannot. I'm going to be calling Amazon Kindle later today to get my money back for that too, because I cannot believe that I wasted my money, my time, and my hopes on this book, hoping that it would be a good representation of chronic illness. We don't get much representation in books. And if we do, it's usually tragedy porn. And this was the same thing. And I was so excited for it. I don't want to go see that movie. I cannot see that movie. I cannot support a message like that, where it almost feels like they're telling kids with cystic fibrosis, who are one of the main demographics for this book, throw caution to the wind. Who cares about your life expectancy? If you want to go do something, do it. And it's like, no. Stella only like a few pages earlier was talking about all the places she wanted to go see. She wanted to go see the Sistine Chapel. She wanted to go see Rome. She wanted to go see Fiji. And now she's not going to be able to, because she wanted to kiss her boy toy. And it's so ridiculously stupid. And let me just say, Barb is the best character in that book, because she tries to keep those kids safe, and they spit in her face. And I'm just appalled. And I know I don't have cystic fibrosis, so I can't speak from a place of someone that is terminal. I have chronic illnesses, none of which are terminal. They're just going to torture me for the rest of my life. And one of them is eventually going to leave me wheelchair bound. But none of them are going to kill me. And I thought about it, and I thought, if I were given the dilemma of either never touching my girlfriend again, or only living for like a couple more years, I would have to think about that. But that's because me and my girlfriend have been dating for over 2 years now. And can you not? I know that I can accurately think about that because I love her too much. But we are both adults, and I know this isn't just like some crazy, like this isn't just some, like, you know, these weird feelings. We've been experiencing feelings for each other for the past 2 years. Can you not? But Stella and Will have only known each other for about 2 weeks and have been dating for 4 days and decide to throw it all away. Because, and eventually it doesn't come down to, oh, she's in love with this boy too much. Because no, you've only known him for 4 days. This is technically your third date where you were ice skating with him. So it doesn't come down to, you know, oh, you're so in love with this boy, because in reality, she's only been dating him for 4 days. Might even be less. I'm not entirely sure. It comes down to she was tired of living with cystic fibrosis and decided she didn't care if she died. And that's an awful message to send to teens with a fatal illness, that you should just give up. No, you should make those lists. You should be prepared to fill out those lists. You should create as long of a bucket list as you can. And I encourage this to anyone. There's a YouTuber named Momo O'Brien. She made a bucket list 6 pages long, and she's still adding to it, and she's still working on it, and she calls it her New Year's Eve, her New Year's resolutions, but none of them are actual resolutions. It's just a bucket list. But I think I get why she calls it her New Year's resolutions, because it inspires her to keep going another year. And that's what I started doing. I started making a bucket list to inspire me to keep going another year, to inspire me to take my treatments so I can keep going another year, so I can keep doing what I love to do, so I can, you know, become a published author, so I can, you know, get a musical on Broadway, so I can get my teaching degree, so I can, you know, one day play Frankenfurter and Rocky. One of my goals is I want to be able to have held every character at least once. For some period of time in Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's so many things I want to do, and I won't be able to do that if I don't do my treatments. So I'm using it to motivate myself to do my treatments. And I think that if you are also a spoonie, that you should too. If you are disabled, it doesn't matter necessarily if if you're trying to get better or if you're happy the way you are, but use something to motivate you to keep going whenever you feel down, because we all sometimes feel like, you know, what if we just end it all because this is miserable? We all think like that occasionally, even if it's just a small thought in the back of our head that's like, go away. But it comes up sometimes, and you shouldn't just give up. You should have something to motivate you. Basically, at the end of the day, the only good thing about 5 Feet Apart was the chocolate pudding hack. And that's it. I'd love to hear from someone that enjoyed the movie, especially if you enjoyed the movie and had cystic fibrosis, or have rather. But I will see y'all in my next video, whenever that is. How do you like the hair, by the way? I got a shower. I just woke up and made this video. I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope y'all keep living for something. Hopefully not just for your boy toy or your gal pal. Like, hopefully you're living for yourself. I don't know, I think I find more happiness in living for myself than for someone else. Yeah. Stay strong.